Hello, what's going on? Just got home. I poured myself a glass of milk. People, there are people who think it's gross to just drink milk by itself. Like they think you have to have like cookies with it or pour it into cereal and then it's okay. But like milk by itself, they're like, oh, they become adults and they stop drinking milk. I drink like half a gallon of whole milk every day. Um, it's Milk is amazing. It's delicious. I don't I don't know how true this is. Maybe it's just like this people that I'm around, but I feel like there are like certain connotations behind drinking milk. Like I'm a good example of this. Like I do personal training, and I was talking to a guy who likes to drink milk. I do too, but we were talking about that. But he was somebody who was trying to put on weight, and he likes milk, but he's like, oh, I just don't know if I'm drinking too much milk. Um, like I said, how much are you drinking? He's like, oh, maybe a glass or two. I'm like, well, I'm drinking like 5 a day. And I'm like, dude, I feel the best I've ever felt in my life drinking this much milk. Like, I'm like, dude, you need to pump those numbers up. He's like, I mean, like he needs to put on like maybe being like a few hundred more calories a day or something like that. And I was like, dude, if you just drink 1 or 2 cups of milk, you're done, right? But he's like allowed whoever, I don't know where he got that notion from, that like drinking too much milk is bad for you. I grew up drinking milk. I always drank milk my whole life. Not once was I ever like, ugh, I think I'm drinking too much milk. The only time I started thinking that maybe was when I started this personal training job, and then I started listening to what people were saying around me, and then I asked one of the other trainers. He's a good guy, and he's like, do you feel good? Do you feel all right drinking that much milk? And I was like, I do. I feel great. He was like, well then you're fine. I was like, okay. And then I started drinking even more milk. So yeah. I mean, I don't know. I love drinking milk, and there's a point to this. The reason I'm drinking milk, that I like drinking milk so much, is it's good for you. Um, it has a lot of protein, which is good. But I think more importantly, on a in terms of like what it, I mean, think about it. Like when you're born, the first the first thing that touches your tongue, the first thing that you consume is milk. So how have we gotten to a point where it's like that's what sustains us for years, and then we're like, oh, like I can't drink milk anymore, like unless like it's for the proper setting. Dude, when I was a baby, I was crushing it. I was, I'm, I don't know actually how much milk do babies? There's no way they drink half a gallon of milk a day because women don't make that much milk. Well, yeah, no, I'm drinking more milk than I did as a baby for sure. But um, right now, but in like in a ratio, I was only drinking milk, so I had a higher ratio of milk. But I'm drinking a lot more milk now because I'm bigger and I need more. I'm a bigger person now than I was when I was a baby. Um, but the, again, to continue is that's where we started drinking milk, and now we have. And I'm not saying society necessarily as a whole, but there's a notion that floats around that drinking milk by itself is like weird or gross. And again, it's cow's milk, but like, shut up. It's like it's I get it, but it's still similar. Now, if you wanted to discuss is it weird to drink breast milk as an adult, that's for another day. I'm not going to talk about that. I'm just talking about milk in general. But we grow up, and now it's like, oh, you can't drink milk. Not that anyone's ever said to me like, "Hey, stop drinking milk," but like, I have definitely, people have definitely been like, "Oh, that's weird that you do that." So, I mean, whatever. Um, I mean, I'm drinking some right now, so who cares, right? But really, it's, you let the world tell you what to do and what's good for you, and you start to forget where you came from and what you knew to be good intuitively. Keyword intuitively. You pop out your mama. you pop out that you pop out you pop out that John, and then you're you're straight to it. You're like, "Where's milk?" Immediately. And when baby's crying, you just make them pretend that they're drinking milk, or you just give them milk and they stop. So you know to drink milk. You know it to be true. Search your heart. You know it to be true. Impossible, but that's the truth. And then you grow up and people stop because like, oh, fats. It has so much fat or something. It's upsetting. But yeah, you grow up and you stop drinking milk. But now I'm back on milk. I'm reintegrating back with the version of myself that loves milk. Not that it ever truly went away, but there was a period of my life where I was like, maybe it's time to stop drinking so much milk. Now I'm back, and it's great. I feel amazing. Um, and I think this points to a bigger problem. This points to a bigger issue of letting the world um, influence your thoughts and teach you to listen to every single thing that enters your head equally, instead of realizing that everything that enters your head, it's up for you to decide the weight it carries and how much belief you put into it. We live now where it's like you hear something and then it's like, oh, well, this, because I'm so insecure about my own place in the world, or I have such a lack of confidence in my own understanding, that this might be as valid as the things that I've realized in my life. So now what you're doing is that you're taking these things that you hear, or these thoughts that come into your head, wherever they come from, and you take them in and you keep them there and you examine them and you weigh them out similar with the same weight as your own thoughts, or I shouldn't say your own thoughts because none of your thoughts are your own, but we'll get into that later. But you take what you hear and what other people say, and you don't really take the time to discern what's true or what isn't. You just kind of rattle back and forth between, should I do this, should I not? That's why I have a guy who's like coming into me saying, I need, like, drinking more milk would solve all my problems, but I don't think I'm supposed to do that. It's like, well, have you ever tried just like listening to what you think is true? Have you ever had enough courage to believe your own convictions? I have a friend, very good friend of mine, and he's like an absolute beast, a beast of a man. He like got me into like weightlifting, and he's like mechanical engineering degree, and uh, we went on deployment together, and he got like a 99 on the ASVAB, which is like literally the highest score you can get. So he guy's like a jacked genius, pretty much, this guy. And I asked him, I was like, how long did you drink milk when you were born? He's like, till I was 5. You get home from kindergarten, drop his backpack, and be like, Mama, I'm hungry. And I don't think that's an accident at all. Now, look, I'm not saying you necessarily have to drink milk. You might be a big boy. Maybe you shouldn't drink milk. Maybe you should just drink water. I drink water too. I drink water and milk, right? I drink a lot of drink a lot of milk. I'm not saying you necessarily need to start drinking milk, right? But what I'm saying is that I know that drinking this much milk is good for me. A lot of people might look at that and be like, "What are you doing?" But uh, why would I listen to that if if I'm not trying to walk the same path other people are walking? Now, this is a very small issue. It's not about the milk, right? It's an anecdote of a larger issue of thinking that there's a set of rules that you necessarily need to play by, right? Even in the Bible, as much as people think that religion in general, oh, we live in the West, so for they think like, the Bible, Christianity, just religion, whatever, that it's just a big set of rules. No, it says in the Bible that pretty much all of this is already ours, right? Everything is already yours, but all you have to do is like is look for what you want, seek for it, and you'll find it. And it's there. It's all of it is. It's already there. It's already been made for you. What you have, what you need for your life, it's already been given to you. That's really the purpose of what I'm talking about here. I know it's a bit of a jump, but you have to bear with me. What you have or what you need has already been given to you, right? People, the world will trick you into believing that that's not true, right? They will come up with their own rules, say you need to follow these rules, and then at the same time criticize the rules that religion makes for you and be like, oh, it's because it's just a bunch of rules. But then they'll cast judgment on you and make a bunch of rules for you to follow and think that like you're, some, uh, they'll turn you into a social outcast or whatever it is if you don't follow the rules that they think you need to follow. So they're just as authoritarian as they accuse religion to be of with its rules. But the only problem is that they've come up with it themselves, or somebody told it to them, and now they're just spewing it into your life, right? Because the reason that they do that is because they're not actually convicted about the rules they have for their own life. So they're like, if they can get other people to follow them, then then it validates the rules that they made for their life. And when you don't, it threatens their identity of who they built themselves to be, right? So, if you want to have a cup of milk, drink milk. But what I'm really saying on that point is, or just to go further, is everything you have, everything you need, you already have, right? The world is yours, and you can choose to follow the world. You can. God gives you that right out of love. Because if you didn't have that choice, you couldn't love anybody or anything or God or whatever it is. I couldn't love this milk if I didn't have the decision to do it, right? So you can choose to love, to put your faith into whatever you want, to listen to whatever you want. But God gives us our consciousness, our ability to reflect on our own thoughts. And that's where free will exists, to say, what will you choose? Where will you go? It's like, it's like the Matrix, but it's not as like binary necessarily as that. In a way it is, in a way it isn't. It's kind of like I wouldn't say it's a paradox, but it's kind of circular. It kind of it's fine. I don't need to. It doesn't matter. Yeah, what you need, you already have. When you were born, you did not. There was not somebody that was like, "Hey, you need to go get milk." You came out and you were like, "Where is it?" I need this. You knew it. You knew it to be true. You had conviction. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Hallelujah. You had conviction about needing milk. You knew it. There was nothing that could convince 1 month old you or 0 day old you that you need milk. You did not stop to think about this. You knew it. Your intuition told you and you trusted it. And then as you grow up, now it's like, wait, you're drinking milk? do you do you have cookies with your milk? No? Oh, what's wrong with you? Why don't you have cookies with your milk? I like milk, but it's got to be with something. I have cookies or I got to put in my cereal. Whatever. Hmm. I'm already done. I'm going to keep talking, but I might get up and get more. What are you going to do about it? But yeah, what you need, you have. You have it. It's available to you. What you don't realize, and it took me a long time to realize, is that because of what gets repeated to you a billion times as you grow up, especially in public school, oh my goodness, is that you need to become something. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna become? Oh, I'm in this process of becoming. What are you gonna do after you graduate? Or are you like what career are you gonna do? Like how you need to become the man that you need to be, or you need to become. I'm becoming. I'm becoming. I'm becoming. All that implies is that you are not what you don't. You're in a it's a scarcity mindset. It all implies is that you you need to keep on searching forward for what you're looking for, and that sounds like a good thing. I'm not saying it's completely useless, but it denies the notion that what you have is already inside of you, right? Just like in a way that a mother already has milk for her child. Yeah. What you have, you already need. You got it. But in this process of saying, I need to become this, I need to do this, what happens is that you start listening to everything around you and you stop trusting and listening to your intuition. You start listening to your thoughts, and your thoughts are not even your own, but no one really helps you identify where they're coming from or what they are, right? So you're like, oh, I need to become who I am supposed to be, without realizing that you already are. You've just forgotten. Really, what it is that it's not about becoming; it's about integrating with who you are. If you want to learn about integration, start looking up Carl Jung, look up the shadow, do some shadow work if you want, which I highly recommend. Um, Although I think a lot of that is circumstantial. I didn't do a lot of it on purpose. It just happened because of things that I chose to do and circumstances I put myself into without realizing what the consequences were. But stop. There's nothing to become. I strongly, I have deep convictions that I was created with an ability or with a purpose or a vision set in mind for my life. Now, if that is the case, and which I believe, if that's the case, then my creator, God, right? If he created me like this, and then on top of that, I start assigning myself things beyond what he created me for, right? Now I'm playing God in my own life. I'm saying, no, I need to become this. I need to mold myself into this, right? Instead of letting the force, the source that created me to mold me instead, right? I'm like, no, I'm gonna do it myself, right? I'm going to and that's the funniest part too, or one of the funniest things is that people think, oh, I'm gonna become the person I want to be, but all they're doing is you are not any of your own thoughts. You're none of them. You're not the good ones or the bad ones. All you actually are, all you are, is your ability to reflect on them. You are just your consciousness and that alone, right? Now, once you look at, and this is why the Bible is just amazing because it talks about this, but it, in a way that people could understand in a simple way. And it's like the Bible says the things that's true, and then people go, "Oh, I don't know. I need to come up with the logic and reason behind that." And then at least this is my experience, but I think this is generally true. They do this whole big roundabout of searching, of trying to prove that these statements are, if there's actually any validity to them, and then they come around just believing like, "Oh, this was right the whole time, and I spent years trying to make sure it was right, and I guess I did, but it's like, why didn't I just like?" Now that I fully understand it, it's already been said perfectly. There's nothing else left to be said. It's like, if I could have just seen that from the beginning, you know. And I guess that's just life in general. So maybe that's me being too hard, but that's my experience. And um, the idea of becoming instead of integrating, all that really is you taking everything that you receive from the world, from people, thoughts that come from places, from deep, dark places, from other, what I believe to be other dimensions, other evil sources. You take all of these things and you weigh them all the same. And you look at them and you go, oh, this is why, like, why do I have all these thoughts? Like, what's wrong with me? It's normal. There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you at all. The only part that's wrong or is misguided is the fact that you think that these things are you to begin with, right? It doesn't make, I'm not gonna say it doesn't make any sense. It does make sense that you would think that. I used to think that. Everybody does, or at least has at one point. Because you grow up and you're scared. You live in fear, whether you want to admit it or not, that you don't know who you are because from such an early age you're always like, what do you want to be when you grow up? Like everyone's always asking, like, how are you going to serve the system that's raising you? That's the underlying current of everything. How are you going to serve the system that is raising you, right? That's why people who don't even, we're so conditioned that there are people who don't even like the military who still thank me for my service. Well, thank you for your service. And then if you actually talk to them about, it's like, what are you even talking about? I don't even want to get into that because that's whatever. Oh my goodness, that's a different conversation. I want to get back to this. The idea of becoming versus integrating. The main point of this is to integrate back with yourself, is to reconnect yourself with the source that made you. It is denying the notion that you have something to become and understanding the reality that you already are what you need to be. It's just that you've grown up and it's like you're looking for something in your room and there's a big pile of laundry sitting on the ground. A big old pile of dirty laundry sitting on the ground, and you're looking for this thing. And instead of Instead of peeling back the layers to search under this pile, all you do is that you just kind of like look on top, or you start piling other things on top of it, moving things over it instead of digging under. You have this big pile of dirty laundry sitting on top of who you really are. And for some twisted reason, you think, okay, I know how to keep looking I know how to find this. I'll keep throwing more dirty laundry on top of this big pile. That's spiritually what you're doing. Oh my God. That's spiritually what you are doing, is that you're looking for something in a pile of dirty laundry by adding more dirty laundry to it. And then people, in the same breath, will claim that faith and God and spirituality don't make any sense. How the fuck does that make sense? Oh my God. But again, these are things this is how I see it and what I've come to realize. And this is how it makes sense to me. Now, I have conviction about this. I truly believe this. Why do I have conviction about my convictions? Because where am I getting these thoughts from? Where do I think they're coming from? Where do I feel they're coming from? There's no way to truly tell. I'm stuck in the third dimension. All right? And if you don't believe in dimensions, you're just gonna have to stick around until you do. But how do I know this, that idea, that there's validity behind that? Well, I've spent a while. I'm not gonna say a long time, because in the grand scheme of things, not that long. But I've spent a while with sincere and genuine intention about reconnecting with the source of where I believe I come from. We all come from. And I've realized that when I have notions like that enter, I feel it in my gut before I think in my head, oh yeah, that's true, right? I get that, I tap back into that intuition. It's just like, ding, that is real, that's true. Now, could that be a slippery slope? Maybe. But then I take these notions and I apply them to my life, and I realize that they bear a lot of fruit, that they hold weight. And I think they're true, that they're real, they're valid. And getting back to the finishing up on the idea of what I was talking about earlier, being how we are just our consciousness, that we are not anything more than that our thoughts are what we receive from God, from the devil, from other people, from the world, from media, whatever. That if we are only just our consciousness, right? If you strip us down, that's all we are, you integrate back with that consciousness, then you start to understand, well, that's all I am, and that's all you are too. And take that a step further and you realize, oh, we're all the same thing. We're all the same thing. It's just the ways in which our Creator expresses himself through us in different ways, but our source is all the same. What we truly are, the only thing we really are, is just that, right? And that way you can look at other people and be like, this person is, yeah, they are another person, but really their true self is literally just me. We're the same. As we say in the Bible, we are all the body of Christ. We're all one body. So it doesn't need to be complicated. It doesn't. All you have to do is drink milk. I'm kidding. But seriously, all you really have to do is understand. Once you start believing or understanding the notion that all you really need to do, or they really, I'm not gonna say you need, you don't have to do shit. You don't need to do anything. What I suggest is that you start to play with the idea, maybe just do it as like a little thought experiment. Start playing with the idea that you might just be your consciousness in that alone, and that reintegrating with that instead of trying to take your thoughts and like mold them into you and create this Frankenstein of a beast that's just like this jungle juice of a person, right? Oh, I'm Antonio, and I'm this, and I've done this, and I did that, and these are all my titles, and these are all my accomplishments, and this is who I am. And now you're just like this person with all these different labels and everything that only mean a certain amount to a certain group of people. It's okay, but then once all is gone, who are you? Are you nothing? I don't think anyone believes that you're nothing. Well, maybe like some Eastern philosophy, like I thought there's deeper. It's not like you literally are nothing, but there's a deeper philosophy to that, but that's not important. At least for right now, is like, it's just semantics. But you take all those things away that the world has assigned to you to make you fit into a system to serve it. You take all those titles away, and what are you? Now take all the titles and all of the stuff away from the person next to you, from the people you work with, or the person you disagree with, or the person you hate. You should realize, oh, we're the same. We're the same thing, just expressing itself differently. That's all we really are. Existing in the same time, just in different spaces and manifesting differently because of that. And that's about it. That's about the only difference. But really, at the core, you really are the same thing. Reintegrating with that, with who you are and what you were already made as, not what you need to become. Peel back the layers. Do not stack on top. Do not pile more dirty laundry on top of that pile to search for the thing you're looking for. Start cleaning it up. I don't know what that looks like for you on an individual level. I know what that's looked like for me. And I truly think I found what I've been looking for. For me, that's it's been Jesus Christ, my faith. And I think that's what it is for everybody. And now I don't expect everybody to agree with me on that. And as much as I love God and Jesus, and am so in touch with my faith, I don't believe we preach through our words, more just through what we say. So if that's not what you believe it to be, or that you have like an immediate gut reaction against that, that's okay. Let that sit there, right? Just ask yourself why. Or where is it coming from? I'll leave you off with this. If what you've learned to believe about religion, what you've come to believe about religion, whether you're an atheist, agnostic, or whatever it is, whether you even believe in God, or you're a Christian, if your opinions on religion, whatever you have about them, is what you base your relationship with God on, good or bad, I think you have a little bit of work to do. Especially if what you've grown up being told about religion is stopping you from trying to be in relationship with God. And in your head you decided that those are the same exact thing. I'm sorry, you have been lied to. You have been lied to. Religion serves its purpose, but if you believe religion as an institution is what God is, or that they equal the same thing, you might want to, you might want to revisit that. That's enough for today. Um, I want to get into a lot more stuff like this. This is much more of a free flow talk, and we're going to keep going down this path and talking about these types of things. But there is a process of reintegrating, like water that shoots out of a fountain, but eventually lands back into the pool of water and goes back up. This circular motion. That we need to understand that is the path we're all on, whether we like it or not. We don't exist. Time is not linear. It is a closed loop. It is circular. Past, present, and future are all the same. I need to stop talking. I'm gonna keep going for another 30 minutes. But yeah, we're gonna put a pin in it there, and we'll keep going. But that's enough for today. Stay blessed. I appreciate you watching and tuning in, and I hope you took something from this. And go get yourself a glass of milk.